protomanly's weather mod. The mod finally updated after like what, 6 or 7 months? I don't know. It's been a while. I haven't been counting, but it's somewhere around that. And honestly, this mod is really cool. They've added wildfires and a fire tornado as well, which I'm going to show later in the video. But there's also a lot of new things, like new blocks, like rebar. On top of that, there's also a graphics overhaul, which means the tornadoes not only look better, but there's also less lag, because I know that's an issue a lot of people had. I would estimate that there's been around 6 or 7 new features. Okay, I'm just gonna stop. First, I'm gonna show you the new tornado, and I'm gonna hop on to my SMP right now, which is actually public. So if you want to play on a public protomanly's weather mod SMP, then you can play at mc.atzlk.com and join the Discord over here. It is free to play. Everyone and anyone can play it, and it's honestly is amazing. It's very active. There's a lot of people, and the only mod that you need is this update. We got some guy over here, and he's a part of this big like kingdom thing. I don't know what's going on here. It's like a city or something. We got a few members here and founders. It's pretty interesting. Apparently there's a tornado forming over there, but yeah, compared to the older versions, you can tell that the clouds and everything just looks a whole lot different, especially the supercell and mesocyclone, which I'll get into later. But already looks like this place has been hit, so I'm gonna probably hit somewhere else. This guy's a channel member, so I'm gonna spare him. I mean, I don't even know if I'm gonna have to spawn a tornado. There's already one forming right there. So you can see that it kind of like, it doesn't fully form right away. It starts to kind of like fade in, and the lightning looks a whole lot better. I'm gonna see if I can see it in lightning, but look, now it's just fully formed. We can see it's picking up a few blocks, but it's not too strong right now, and it does seem to be kind of just staying in place. So right now we've got a rope or something. I'm just gonna, yeah, look at that. That's the lightning. It looks really nice. They did a really good job making it look better, because the lightning and everything just looks so much better. Seems to be something else forming over there. Well, we got someone over here, and they seem like they just started. So I think this is gonna be a perfect person to spawn a tornado on. If you're watching this video, I'm sorry, bro, but you know, it had to be done. It had to be done. So I'm gonna spawn an EF5. I'm gonna make about 300 blocks wide. Actually, let's go with 200 blocks wide. 200 miles per hour. 200 blocks wide. Good luck, bro. I know you just probably played on my server for the first time, but oh, they're looking at me. Don't look at me, bro. Just come over here. It's gonna be okay. The reason I'm not spawning on them now is because water is actually a way to not get picked. If you go in the water, you can avoid getting picked up, so... Anyways, here we go. Good luck, bro. This is what it looks like. As you can see, it is actually insane. And I'm just kind of waiting to see if I can see the person inside the tornado, but... It is insane. Just look at that. From the sounds of it, it sounds like that person got put in a tornado. Just look at that damage though. You can see like the tornado is pulling stuff in from this side, and it's just wrapping around it. That is insane. I don't even know what to say. Because I killed that guy, I'm gonna give him a few diamonds. If you guys want to win some diamonds on my Minecraft server or something, I don't know, you can play on it too. Maybe I might mess with you, I don't know. But I'm just showing the mod off, okay. Next up we got rebar, which is basically reinforcement for blocks. And if you don't know how to make rebar, basically the way to make rebar is by putting iron bars into a blast furnace, and you will get rebar. Now you're probably wondering, what does rebar do? Well, by default it has a wind speed strength of 194 miles per hour, which is a low end EF5 or mid tier. But this is where it really shines. If we get a block, most blocks work with this, but if we get a block and we place it on the rebar, we can actually place blocks on rebar. You're probably wondering, what's the difference? Well, these blocks are reinforced right here. If I get the strength for these, it is 173 miles per hour. It's around EF3. This block right here is not reinforced, and it's 133. So if you're trying to build a base and you want it to look nice, but you don't want to build out like deep slate or something, it is a really good alternative, and I would suggest getting rebar because it can make your builds look a lot nicer, and also just reinforce them. We also got the calendar, which tells you the day, the year, because protomanly's weather mod added a season update, so you can actually get different weather depending on the seasons. On top of that, there's also wildfires in the mod, and with that they added fire extinguishers, which I'll show you later in the video, and those fires can burn things. And if I get a charred log right here, and if I was to go into survival and mine it, it would give me sticks and ashes, apparently. And with those ashes, you can actually use them as a fertilizer. I'm not sure how. protomanly only told me that you could use it as a fertilizer. I'm not sure how. There's also a bit of a texture rework, so we got a balloon platform, new texture for that. Looks quite nice. The radar looks about the same, and the siren looks a bit different. I remember this used to be blue, now it's like gray. Yeah, good luck with that, bro. And these are the new crafting recipes. So the anemometer used to be different, but this is how you craft it now. Sounding viewer I think is different. I'm not too sure. The radar is also different. You need this. And yeah, that's basically, if you want to just see the crafting recipes, this is how you make everything. This mod right here is called Just Enough Items. I really recommend it when you're using mods because it gives you all the crafting recipes you need for different mods. Alright, so I've just loaded into like a normal world right now, and I'm gonna spawn in a wildfire. Basically, the way you can do this is just normal flint and steel. Protomanly's weather mods, they kind of revamped how fire works. So right now, as you can see, there's like a small fire layer here. And how this works, basically, the fire will go up by a few layers. As you can see, it's going up more and more layers as it goes on. The way you can get rid of these layers is just by hitting it, and you can put it down a layer. So that took 3 hits to get rid of. If you can catch this early on, that's how you're gonna have your best chances of, you know, putting it out. With the wildfires, they also added a fire NATO, which I'm gonna show you in a second. But fire NATOs work a little bit differently. Their max wind speed is 100 miles per hour and their max width is 10 blocks wide. And they do not actually come from a mesocyclone, which means it is not technically a tornado and it couldn't really damage you, but I've seen people get sucked up by it, so I guess it is kind of like dangerous if you get too close, and I think the fire can hurt you. So as you can see, it's starting to like really get damaging to the floor right now. It's starting to char it and stuff. Charred dirt, burnt grass, all that stuff, and it is spreading in the way of the wind. It is not looking nice. It's gonna start spreading on these trees. I'm gonna light them on fire actually so you can see what happens, but basically it chars the logs, and from what I've heard, structures can actually collapse. Also in the changelog they said that blocks can actually explode, which I don't know how it works, but basically it's when a block that can be ignited is in a room with oxygen and it's somewhat compact, I'm not sure, it can ignite and explode, which I'm quite interested to see how that works. But you can see this wildfire is starting to spread a lot more now, and it is. Now I'm going to spawn the fire NATO, which is basically just a normal command. Fire whirl, 100 miles per hour, and I'm going to make it a width of 10. And this is what a fire whirl actually looks like. It is, as you can see, it sucks up all the fire and it should spread it a lot quicker. It is spreading the fire a lot quicker. And something that I've noticed, that if you go into like the wildfire, you can see that it has like a little orange ambience. Whereas if you go outside of it, it goes more gray, which is kind of cool. The way you'd basically put this out is just by making a fire extinguisher, which can be crafted just like this. I suppose if you wanted to protect your base, what you could do is you could kind of cut off the line for it and try to block it off. Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't think a fire extinguisher is gonna do much of a job. Unless you see it initially and it's small, maybe it might work, but if it's like a huge fire, I'm just gonna be so for real. This thing ain't doing anything, okay? I've tried it. It does not work. If the fire is big and it's wide and it's like me, okay, actually that was really weird. Okay, I wouldn't try it on it. But yeah, just look at that. That is insane. And it's also just devastating. Oh, and as you can see, one of the logs here got charred. Doors can also be charred and they look pretty cool when they're charred. Oh, look at this guy. This guy's got a pretty cool base. Never mind. Holy. Okay. Maybe some houses do deserve to get hit by a tornado. I'm sorry if you're watching this video with Sprinkle Winkles, but... Oh, that's not even your name. I mean Sprinkle Waffles. I'm just gonna be so through with you, bro. This house ain't it. You gotta work on this. You gotta make this look nicer. There is also new config settings. So I'm gonna be explaining how they work. Graphics, it is pretty self-explanatory. Downsample. This is pretty interesting. So downsample is basically when you can see like the clouds around the block, you can see how it kind of glitches out, and the further objects are, the more kind of just glitches with the weather. You can see it doesn't really look that nice. What I like to do is turn my volumetrics downsample onto like 1.25 or something and set my quality down to low. I don't really see much of a difference between low and high, and I think setting your downsample down is more beneficial in my opinion because it just makes it look nicer. As you can see, I'm gonna compare it right now. There's no glitching whatsoever and it just looks seamless. And these are on low graphics right now, which doesn't even look low. It looks nice. I would much rather prefer having no glitching with the clouds in the background and just have it look seamless than just have it look high quality but really bad with the background. We also got sounds, which is also just self-explanatory. Debug doesn't really matter. That's just if you're trying to debug stuff, but most people won't care about that. Etc. Just some random stuff. You can look at this. It's nothing to do with really much of what you'd really care about. Server configuration. This is pretty interesting. So the modules, this is basically just like booleans where you can set things to happen. If you want damage, wildfires, tornadoes, tornadoes, cyclone squalls, etc. If you want them, you can turn them on. If you don't want them, you can turn them off. Seasonal crops, this also makes temperatures affect crop growth and death. So as I said before earlier, protomanly added seasons to the mod. So you know, May might have more tornadoes because it's like tornado season or whatever. Spawning, this is your spawn rates. This is pretty self-explanatory as well, just spawn rates. We got storm settings, so if you want to make storm sizes different or you want to turn it on to aim to player, all these different settings. Everything's basically the same except it's just more organized and you can just see better stuff. You can choose what blocks you want to be able to be incinerated, so you can take away blocks if you don't want that to be destroyed. And that's pretty much it. Protomanly also said on my stream that a large part of the mod or this update was for backend development, which is essentially just the code that people that make add-ons will care about. So things might be a lot more organized and easier for add-on developers to actually utilize and, you know, make different mods that can utilize protomanly's weather. So hopefully we'll be seeing better add-ons and more add-ons. Not saying the add-ons right now are bad, but we'll be seeing a lot more and hopefully a lot better improvements, a lot better improvements. But overall, I think this update's really cool. I really like it.